get these problems, you should start by writing the equivalent forms of sine 2 theta and cosine 2 theta. So sine 2 theta is 2 sine cosine. And then cosine, you can use any of the three, but I usually just use cosine squared minus sine squared. And then so we know what sine is. So 2, and then replace sine theta, the whole thing, as negative 5/13. And so the next thing we need to do is find cosine. So to do that, we make a triangle. And opposite over hypotenuse. And then use Pythagorean's theorem to find the missing side. So 5 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared. And then b squared equals, it's 169 minus 25 is 144. So this side is 12. So cosine is then adjacent over hypotenuse. Sine 12 over 13. But then you need to figure out if it's positive or negative. And so the second part of this problem right here tells you that it's in quadrant 3. So on a unit circle, you have quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're in quadrant 3, cosine is going to be some negative value. So negative 12/13. And then you just multiply all the numbers straight across. And if it helps, you can like make 2 over 1. And then so multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So that gives you 120 over 169. And then simplify it if it can, and this one can't, so that's your answer for A. For cosine, with cosine squared minus sine squared, so you plug in cosine, which is negative 12/13, which we found over there, squared minus sine is negative 5/13 squared, and then that's 144 169th minus, and so negative squared is positive 25 169th, which gives you 119 over 169. And again, simplify if you can, which this can't, so that's the final answer.
Okay, so number 2, you're going to start off the same way as you did the first one, so that's 2 sine theta cosine theta. And then basically you're given cosine, so that's just going to be 5/9. And then we don't know sine, so we're just going to draw a triangle again. And so we don't know what that one is, so we're going to use Pythagorean's theorem like we did. So that would be 56. Okay, so we have to find the simplified form of this, which is 8 and 7. And then you just find multiples of these, which is just 4 and 2. Like let's choose 2 and 2. You bring down the 7. And then you put these all in a little square root box, and then you do 2, 2, 2, 7, and then you pull up the pair. That should be 2, 14, and that's your simplified form. And then you move it over here to find sine, so that's 2 square root of 14 over 9. And it's in quadrant 2, so that just stays because it's sine. And then for cosine, you do cosine squared minus sine squared, because it's the same as the first one. And then you do negative 5/9, which is cosine squared minus this. And then you just square root that, square that. And then you subtract, which is And then once you have that, you have to do this. And I can just go like that. And then you have your answers.
So for this one, again, you start with 2 sine theta cosine theta. And then we know cosine, so 1/7. And then to find sine, we use a triangle. So theta, opposite over adjacent. And then this is root 48. Which, again, to simplify it, make a tree, 6 and 8, which goes into 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. So there's all the prime numbers, which gives you root 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then pair, so 4 root 3. So root 48 is also 4 root 3. So then 4 root 3 over 7. And it's in quadrant 4, so sine is negative. And then multiply everything out. So you get negative 8 root 3 over 49. And it doesn't simplify anymore, so that's the answer to A.
What's going on?
And then for B, you have cosine squared minus sine squared. And then, so cosine is 1/7 minus negative 4 root 3 over 7 squared. So 1/49 minus 48 49ths is negative 47 49ths. And that's the answer.
Okay, so this one's a little bit different than the other ones because it has secant instead of sine or cosine. And it's just reciprocal of cosine, so that'd be cosine theta equals 1/5. So now you just write the equivalent form of these, which is 2 sine theta cosine theta. And cosine is given to us, so it's just 1/5. And then you make your triangle again. Then you use Pythagorean's theorem, that's 24, and the simplified version of that would be 2 root 6. And then you move this over, and it's in quadrant 4, and sine is negative in quadrant 4, so it'd be negative 2. And then you solve. And then you have your first answer. And then for the second one, you just write the equivalent form again. And then we just square our sine. And that would just be 24 again, because we just found that. And then you subtract. That's your answer.
Now try doing 5 yourself and then pause the video and I'll give you the answers now.